online. Welcome to another episode of the Big Blue Tent podcast. Come in, get comfortable. All are welcome here. The views from Gups and Aidan are strictly for entertainment purposes and should not be mistaken for facts. 30 seconds until round 1.
Shut up and sit down.
Welcome to the Big Blue Tent podcast, episode 17. It's Wednesday the 23rd of August 2017 and you're listening to Matt Guppy and Aidan Burke of the Big Blue Tent. Hi Aidan.
Hi mate, how you doing?
All good buddy. What have you been up
to? Racing wise, I was at Ulverston.
New Astro track.
This Sunday.
Yeah, regionals for everybody.
Yeah. Regionals for everyone this weekend, I think.
I think we could go on about regionals for quite some time, but we do need to say a quick thanks to all of our sponsors of the Big Blue Tent. So there's number 5 RCs, Mike Parker up in the north. We've got CML Distribution and RC Octane, which is John Finch down in the southwest. There's Nuclear RC, which is Alan Painter for your glues and acetones, and DTS Apparel, which is Chris Streams with his Designs That Stick. And you can find all of those on their respective Facebook pages, or of course on the Big Blue Tent page or the Big Blue Tent group. That's what they're there for. And don't forget to like and share the podcast if you're having a listen. We really appreciate all the feedback and all the listens we've had, and just the general sort of feeling we've had back about the podcast since we've been doing it. It's been really great, and we genuinely appreciate every single one of you that tunes in.
Yeah, we do. Look, everyone's been really happy. We've had a lot of people send us messages, things we should do, things we shouldn't do. We listen to them all, we reply to them all.
Well, you do.
So I do, yeah.
You do. To be fair to everybody that does message to the Big Blue Tent page, by the time I see the notification, Aidan's had the conversation. Yeah,
that's probably true, yeah.
You know, that's the difference between me being at work and Aidan being at work. Yeah, it's. I don't actually get to see too many of the messages that come through, because I am generally running around doing lots and lots of other things as well. But Aidan does keep a good eye on the messages. So if you do want to message us, it will be him that you are speaking to, more than likely. If it is me, I'll try and pop my name at the bottom so you know it's definitely me that you're talking to instead.
Yeah, that saved me time. Yeah, so it's me, unless you say it's you.
Yeah.
That's great.
And that means I can pretend to be you quite easily.
Yeah. I do loads of that stuff. In fact, someone replied on... I also help out answering messages on Southport.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody else had replied as Southport, and I'm like... And then they tagged me into the post. I'm like, what the bloody hell was that?
Wow.
So yeah, I do have access to my phone a lot of the time. In fact, I think I was talking to you this morning or this afternoon and saying I've started to plug my phone into the other side of the room.
Yes.
That's a great thing. Though I do need my phone to turn my computer on.
Yeah. Well, I've normally got a jacket or something hung on the back of my chair. So what I tend to do is one of my coats that I wear has got my like buttons over the pocket. So I try and almost lock my phone in my coat pocket, turn all the sound off, so I just pay no attention to it. Otherwise, it's just going off constantly these days. But it's all good. It's all good stuff that we get to see, and I think I'm following a lot more sort of pages and groups and clubs and things like that. And it's really apparent how much everything's been sort of growing in the background, if you like. It's there's plenty of RC stuff going on, plenty of off-road racing going on, bit of on-road here and there, you know. I suppose we've got to mention it, haven't we, really, before people start getting annoyed.
Yeah, if someone mentions it, sends me a message.
Well, there you go, it's been mentioned. That's us done for 2017.
Yeah, it's done now.
There's the news. But yeah, regionals, come on, let's get on to that. What's been, how was it for you at Ulverston on the new
Ulverston.
Astro? I want to know all about Ulverston's Astro. How sandy it was, what the grip was like.
Well, I can tell you all those things. I don't need to tell you these things. I can literally show you them.
Okay.
And you're going to think, how am I going to do that? Do you know the floor of Robin Hood's new shed? Apologies for calling it a shed. Just the word I'm going to use. Yeah. Do you know the floor of that building?
Mm-hmm.
It's like an Astro that's obviously been used as a five-a-side pitch because it's still got the lines in it.
Yep.
And it looks like green cord. Looks like made out of a pair of green cord trousers. Well, that's the exact same Astro that Ulverston have got.
Okay.
Ulverston bought lots of Astro that was supplied to Andy Beaumont, Northwest Nitro.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what he does. I think he's got something to do more with the trucks than the actual Astro. But I've seen him a few times. He's put things up, a wagon load of Astro for anybody. Just pay the transport costs.
Yeah. That's
what Ulverston jumped on one of them, got a load of Astro, and then managed to Astro themselves a track.
Mm.
And then the spare bits they had, they passed on to, flogged on, done all the arrangements to Robin Hood to do James Ellywell's new shed.
Okay. I'm not sure that's cordy type material though.
I think it looks like cords.
Well,
like that, the way it's got like a line through it.
I mean, Robin Hood's track Astro's a bit like that, but the Astro in the shed is more like grassy stuff, filled with sand, like the stuff at Mendip.
There was also at Ulverston. There wasn't a lot of sand,
wasn't there? Okay.
No, everyone says there's loads of bloody sand in this. I know they have been doing a lot of work with hoovers and lawn mowers sucking up sand. So I think they've done it, but there wasn't much of a line. There was not much of a sort of a sandy groove. And I'm going to freak people out by talking about sand now. It was very much like Mendip sand. Soft and fluffy.
Yeah.
But I didn't think it was very sandy.
Soft and fluffy rather than sharp and cutty.
Yeah, definitely soft and fluffy.
Okay.
Darts weren't... Everyone was on yellow darts.
Yeah. Darts
weren't falling off a cliff after one or rotten. Even at a regional, people, if you don't do nationals, then or you don't do Ooples, then the region is your big event every year. The big series that you run in. So people will change tyres more often. But even then, they were still doing 3 runs, 4 runs, and I think that's what I did, and then changed mine. But started off, maybe people seen some pictures in the Facebook group that we camped.
Yes, that was great. I liked your
yeah. I think the idea of camping was remind ourselves how bad camping was.
So, just I mean, let's clear this up because I know there are a couple of people who will want to know.
Mm-hmm.
Did you camp in the tent, or did you set up a tent and sleep in the car?
Okay, I'll get to that.
Okay.
Right, I'll get to that. So anyway, we got there on Saturday. The track was set up. We can't practice because it's a regional.
Mm-hmm.
We set all our stuff up, and then once we sort of realised that we can't practice and we thought, someone said there's a pub down the road, 5 minutes walk down there. It's a lovely pub, great views, river, mountains, perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Ace. I thought we walked down it. So as we were walking down the path, me, Bawley, that's Stephen Ball, Dave Muskowski, Scouse, Paul Bannister, the guy who does all the great Astro track work at Southport, and Rick Theron's the gate man. You need a gate. Speak to Rick. We were all walking down towards the road to go to the pub, and then Kev Hodgkinson turns up, holding his tent, goes, I'm just going to put my tent up. Where are you guys going? So we're going to the pub. He just turned around, opened his car again, threw his tent back in, and goes, we'll do it tonight. Then we went to the pub, had some nice beer, had awful food, had a good laugh and a joke, chatted about old times. They were chatting about why they think Craig Drescher hates Kevin more. Remember Drescher talking about how much he hated the people he raced against?
I do indeed.
Well, apparently, I think it's Kevin Moore, never heard of it, was like Drescher's Moriarty, if you want to call Drescher Sherlock Holmes. So the reason he hated him is because even though Kevin Moore drove a Schumacher cat of some description, they all had RC10 gearboxes in.
Yes.
Because they were just much better.
Well, that's still the way things are.
So we had a great time, great night, a few beers, everyone well behaved. Only about 10 or 15 people camped over. The Idden did, but the Ackroyd benches, the Paul Calf Colbert clan, they were all there. And it was a nice place. The weather was okay.
Good.
Regarding where I slept, is I set up my massive yellow tent.
It was a good tent. Good tent. Looked comfortable, spacious.
You
could have almost got one in there.
You could have almost got one. The door didn't even shut at the bottom.
Well, it's lucky it wasn't raining then.
Well, it rained a bit, but it was still pretty dry. But we were in the pub when it rained, I think. So I slept in the tent. So I went to bed in the tent. Mm-hmm. And I woke up about 5ish.
Yep.
And needed a wee.
Okay.
And then at that point, I thought, well, this has been uncomfortable, but it's not been the worst night in the world. And then I remembered I had to get up, get dressed, and then walk to the toilets. It rained overnight, so all the ground was wet. So I did that. And then I realised that I was like, I'm dead thirsty. And I realised I had some Lucozade or water or something in the car.
Yep.
So I walked to the car, opened the car, got myself down, Lucozade, and went, hang on, this is really fucking... It's daylight. Clearly it's daylight at 5 o'clock in the morning. And just reclined my seat and went to sleep for an hour.
Oh, nice.
Until people knocked on the side and was like, hello, mate. So I slept in the tent and I slept in the car.
I'm sure there were many photos taken of you sleeping.
I don't think there's that many.
That's a shame.
It's a shame. There's photos of other people sleeping. So anyway, we got up. It was a great day, dry all day, yellows all day. I was feeling a bit tired and emotional from the night before. Well, on practice, it seemed okay. As long as it went, I was happy. First round, drove it round, wasn't great. I was driving my RZ6. It wasn't great.
Right.
And then
what wasn't great about it?
I don't know. Just wasn't all round great. It was all right, but I was just like, I'm not really happy with that.
Okay.
And then I think that was it. And then this was it straight? Was it then? Yeah, because Tony Pollard, just before me first heat had started, so I'm doing my warm up laps, probably get maybe 2 in, right? And then just before we start, and I'm like number 7, Tony Pollard walks over, picks my car up, and takes it.
Right.
Just disappears off with it into the pit. I'm like, what's going on here? But then he came and put it back down before, and I started at the right place and it was an average. It wasn't a great round. I certainly dropped the score. And I didn't round. It wasn't very good. Went back to Tony and he went, yeah, your setup's all completely wrong. all of it. And I went, hang on, mate, that's the setup you sent me. And he went, no, it's not. And I went, it is. Look, here's the message. And see the message where it says, are you sure this is the right setup? And you go, yeah, that's the right setup. And he went, no, it wasn't. That was the setup for the other car, not the setup for this one.
Oh,
so all we need to do is change your oils, change your... I can do it in order. I took the brass 25, 30 degree front bulkhead on, get that off, plaster or an aluminium one. I took an aluminium one off, that off. What else did we do? I lengthened it.
Okay.
As long as I could make it. I'd something else. I think he rebumped me shocks the next round. There was a couple of... I was the wrong length at the front of my car as well.
Right.
So my wheelbase was short on the front.
Yeah.
The axle spaces for me hubs, I had a big and a little one at the bottom when I should have... They shouldn't be together. I can't remember which way they won't go round now, to be honest. But they shouldn't be... You have a little and a big, not a big and a little. He did that. He changed my oils because he said, what pistons are in? I said, I haven't got a clue. So he changed my oils. Didn't have the right rear arms. I think I had old ZX6 arms and I should have ZX 6.6 arms. So he put them on for me. And the car just got better and better every round.
Okay, well, that's good.
It was just much easier. It drove a lot better. It didn't get to the corner and snap round. It landed. Ulverson's track is now okay. There's going to be a lot of people who listen to these things and talk about these things and go, I wish I had the track. Well, go speak to Paul Westwell. Send Paul Westwell a message and go, how did you build an Astro track in 4 months, 6 months, 8 months, whatever it's taken him to actually get round to doing it? He's gone and found a venue next to a sports and social club. There were toilets open all night. There was catering. It's down the road from a pub. It's got a rostrum. It's got a fence round it. There's some nice wooden tabletop in the middle of it. 2 little jumps, which are decent length jumps. Now they have got some. They've tried to put like a double or something in the middle, under the Astro, and I think they've just not worked at it. It's ace. The whole track's ace, but for me, that's not done well. I think they've miscalculated how much stuff they need to go under something to make it look like something. That we've got bumps in Southport that look like nothing, that have got 5 ton of hardcore under them. So they're just not right. So it's like a double, and you took it as a double, but you either have to go really wide or really close. You can't go in the middle because it doesn't go. The car doesn't go over well anyway.
Yeah.
But you can just about, it sort of nosedives as you go over one edge of it. It nosedives, but it just nosedives enough over the smaller little bump, so it clears and it lands, and then you actually do a hairpin. So, but the track was great. So it just got better and better. I didn't. Do you want to talk about pinions?
Yes. Yeah.
I got a lot of feedback on my pinion. Thank you very much. I got about 4 or 5. That's only did last week. I was going, my car's not fast enough. I've got a 27 tooth pinion on it. Why isn't it fast enough? And I got 4 messages of saying, no, that's the right thing, or even go bigger. And 4 messages off people. One fellow had only listened to it for about... You must have just got to that point and then sent me the message. No, you want to come down to a 22, 23. Right? So I actually spoke to Nick Caro, who was sat with Tony Parr, who's ran a KO show. Like you run an associated, Nick Caro's run a KO show. Forever and a day. When nobody else ran a KO show, he ran a KO show.
Yeah.
Right? Sorry, there was a bit of a delay, but I got that. There are many KO show people. We had two in the A. How about that? 2 in the A, and me in the C, and then Martin and Tony in the C and the D. So I thought KO Show did well. So I asked him, I said, "It's your setup?" And what he actually said was, right, okay. Yeah, generally your pinion should be a 23. But on these shaft-driven, so like a Team C, like an RZ6, like any sort of hybrid 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive car, sometimes he went, "Do you know when you come out the corner and you leather it? Because you've got, that's when the torque is. The car stays flat round the corner because there's no forward and backwards pitching. But if you accelerate or brake, it will move left and right. So he goes, as you come round a corner, you leather it. If the pinion's small, the car will actually get a bit squiffy because of the pinion, and it disappears if..."
Oh, well, there we go. We've lost Aidan. I'm sure we'll be back at some point. We've got a little flash of him there, but I don't know what's happened.
Hi, mate.
Seems like a signal thing. Hello.
Hello.
You all right there? Your dodgy car park. Dodgy car park's lost a bit of signal, I think.
Yeah, we went crazy. So basically, yes, you can put a big opinion in. Yes, you would be very overgeared. But he said, "Oh no, you change your settings on your speedo so it ramps up." So I went, "Okay, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to put it back to a 22." And I put it back to a 22, and it was great.
Good.
A bit of lack of prep. The car was brilliant by the end, and then I snuck car 10 C final. Snuck into the C final, and you know me, I'm a gracious winner and loser. And spent the guys who were driving in the D, as they were driving around them, going, "God, bloody hell, guys, you guys must have been awful. I've had one half decent round and I'm in the C." So I got a few nasty comments from the people in the D final, and Garner was like, "They're going to marshal you now," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, sorry." But anyway, it was all good fun. And then for the first 3 laps of me C final, I didn't do this little double at all. Just drove a completely separate line and fell over every time. Just threw it. I'd gained a few places by then. Bawley had wrecked his near enough on the first lap. He was car 1. And his first lap was something like 56 seconds. He literally first to last.
That's a good opening lap.
That's a good opening lap. And on the first 3 laps, I think I did 2 good ones. And then the next 3, I just didn't clear this not great double. And to be honest, I heard Tony Parr go, "Hey, dude." And I thought, okay, buckle down. And then I drove really well then. My times were really good, but I was just chasing the thing at the end. And then Garner had said for Garner to beat me overall on the regional, he had to beat me by 3 clear places.
Yeah.
And Garner was up to second, and I was last. Right? And then Garner just fell apart.
Yeah.
And I couldn't see where he was, but I could tell he was falling apart because if he was stood next to me, I could hear him go, "Oh, bloody hell. Oh no, what have I done then?" So every time he said that, I just got faster. And then caught him up. I did go past him, and then I rolled it again. But I just stayed behind him then, so he didn't beat me. So it was a great day. We had a great night out on the Saturday night. That's the reason why we go to Ooples and things like that. That was a great night. The track was ace, the food was ace, the weather was brilliant. It was well run. Stu Jones, runs our region pretty well. Chris Streams did our sort of plaque trophy things.
Oh yeah.
Might have seen them on the Facebook page or the group.
Certainly did.
Yeah, that's what Evo. So Chris Streams Designs and Stick did that, and I came away quite happy, mate. Got home quite well, and didn't get abducted by the aliens. So
no, that'll be you'll be abducted when you go to Poland. That'll be when you're abducted.
Is it going to be like a scene from Taken?
No, they'll just bundle you in a laundry basket, wheel you out like a stuffed squealing pig.
Never to be seen
because
again.
You're in Poland. No one will pay any attention to that noise. They'll just think it's just something that happens.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll be fine.
Gone with your flashlight.
I don't think I can take my flashlight, can I, on the plane?
No, I think you can, but I don't think you're allowed the batteries in it.
Okay.
Or,
I need to find out all these things.
Are you allowed batteries? Have you got to get batteries when you get there?
No, apparently, travelling to the AOS, most people have said the same thing. You take your transmitter and your car with a battery in it, with no wheels on it, in your hand luggage, and then your other LiPo in your hand luggage as well. So you can take two. So it all then gets scanned, and then they can ask you the question, and they go, "What's that?" And you go to toy car, and you can plug it in for them and go, "Look, bzz, 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 bzz," and it'll go left and right, and the axles will turn round.
Yeah.
Apparently, if you've got sticks, you're fine. So if you
just
have got
as a cautionary note to anybody turning their electric device on in an airport, make sure everybody's happy with you doing that.
yeah.
Before you start turning things on. I think people are pretty sketchy around airport security these days. So
yes, yeah. As someone said, the people who definitely get stopped are the people who have got triggers, wheels.
Yeah.
Because the first thing the security see is an electrical device with a trigger.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Well, I always knew there was something dodgy about them anyway, but now it just goes to show that it's not just me, it's the authorities.
Yeah. So it was a great day. That's the first time Ulverston have run a regional. That's a track they've built themselves. Paul Westwell, I'm going to keep mentioning him because he's the one who keeps asking me a lot of questions. But, they have got a decent team. Do you know what? There's always plenty of bodies there on the day when you have go to Barrow for a regional. They've got members who turn up and don't race and scrutineer all day. And unfortunately, I wrote the names down and I can't find where I've put them.
Well, I think that's probably a good thing.
If you were the
really
scrutineering team... I also had the wrong front wheels. I had yoke wheels, clearly. So the offset's different on the front of a yoke than it is to a Kyosho. It's literally that dish in, dish out issue as well. So my car would go in the box because you were pushing it down, but as you pulled it out, it wouldn't.
Okay.
Because the tyres would, catch on the side. But you get it. It worked. It would work. But pulling it out was an issue. But that was fine. So it got better and better. My RB 6.6 has been delivered the other day by Felix. Well done, Felix, for building my RB 6.6. He's painted me shell white, so might get that to Tom Patterson to wire up this week.
Okay, that'd be a good thing.
Might be ready for Saturday. Oh, sorry, might be ready for Sunday, and then I'll have 2 weeks to run it before the F2s, 3s, 4s, and 5s.
Okay, yeah.
How was what you? Oh, it was regional weekend. So how was your regional?
It was terrible. To be honest.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
This will be popular. Away you go.
Absolutely bloody dreadful for me.
Yeah.
The guys did a good job as they normally do at Mendip. It is what it is. They the meeting ran. We had 4 rounds of qualifying, 3-leg A finals, and a final for everybody else. That's how our regionals run.
Oh, do you? Oh, we don't do that.
No. I've never been a fan of it. Never will be a fan of it. It's a national thing. I don't know.
Well,
never been a fan of it.
3-round finals for all, or no 3-round finals in my book.
Yeah, pretty much.
We ran it. We tried it for 1 season in the Northwest. It never lasted any longer than that.
I'm not. To be fair, I'm not surprised.
Right.
I'm not surprised. I didn't even run my final. Final. No. But like you say, we will get to that. Yeah, got there nice and early, like you normally do. Got everything set up. Got going a little while after. Had driver's briefing, and there was a bit of a threat of rain. And the plan was that if the rain came, we were going to drop a round of qualifying so that we could run the finals.
That's the wrong answer, by the way.
And
if they can't, you don't do that. If it rains, you drop finals.
That's but that was the plan.
Okay.
Being,
not a great plan.
Well, I mean, far be it from me to make a choice on how a race meeting's run that I'm not running.
Well, mate, I've annoyed other regions. I might as well
fun.
put the Southwest on the top of the list there.
I'm there to have fun and enjoy myself and have a good day's racing and enjoy the company and all of that stuff. So, regardless of anything else, the track, I found the track really, really hard work.
It looked quite tricky.
Yeah, it was difficult. It was difficult. It was a difficult layout to race. It was very much, tickle the car round, because if you go too hard anywhere, you're just going to tip over. And you know what it's like at a regional. If you tip over, that's it. That's your round over.
Yeah,
or it certainly is with the level of drivers that we've got down here.
Mm-hmm.
It was really difficult. The first couple of rounds, I just found it really difficult. We had a 3-minute practice, one run through in heat order. I'd only done one regional this year, so I was way down. I think I was in the third heat, starting right at the very back from the get-go. Nobody's fault but my own. You start regionals in your championship order. The guys in the heat were great. Guys, Steve Head, he was in my heat. Who else was in there? No, John Howe was in the one after me. I think John Finch was in the one after me as well.
Yeah, we had that at ours. There was some discussion because they hadn't done a round in championship order.
Oh, it's tough. That's how it is. At a regional, that's how it is. You go in championship order. You don't expect special treatment because of who you are. You go there, and just like on a race day, if you turn up and you're in the bottom heat, you're in the bottom heat. Deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
People will soon get the idea, if you are that fast, that they will get out the way. But yeah, like I said, anyway, getting back to the weekend, it was really hard work. First couple of rounds were tough, and then I think round three was okay. Had a fairly clear run. I mean, I was starting off second behind Simon Osborne. That's who else was in the heat. The third heat was okay. Didn't really make any mistakes, but then I just didn't feel like I was kind of doing anything with the car. I just felt like I was just literally driving it around.
Right, okay.
And you're just kind of going, well, I at this point I've kind of stopped enjoying myself, because I'm going, Jesus, rain's pretty close. This could be the last round we have today. We're just about to go into a break, so we had a bit of a break then. If the rain comes before the break's over, are we going to drop the last round and go straight into finals? All of that sort of stuff. We didn't. We went into the last round, and just, when this round by round scoring thing, I know it's the way things are done, but sometimes it just plays completely against you. And it just happened to rain in the last sort of minute of the heat before, and pretty much into our qualifying round in the one that we were all going through. And it just made, the guys before us were doing 14 laps. Then we came on and we were doing 13. And then the guys after us came on when the track had dried out again and were doing 15. And you're like, okay. And then I got B2 after all of that, even with just the most shocking of days I could have had. My back was killing me. I'd slept on it. I think I'd trapped a nerve in my shoulder and it was killing me. It was just one of those days where you're going, I should have just stayed in bed today. I really should.
Yeah.
This is my having a completely terrible day shouldn't be put down on any, how anybody laid a track, whether I enjoyed it or not, or whatever. That is it doesn't matter. But it's it was just one of those days, man. I just had enough by the time that qualifying was over. B2, like I say, and then we start running through the finals. So you've got an A final first, then I think we had the E and the D final.
Yep.
Then leg 2 of the A final. Then the oh god,
C.
No, hang on a minute. We might have, was it the C and then? I'm trying to think whether we did the next. So we did the first one, then we did the E and the D, the second A. Then the C ran. And I couldn't remember when the rain came in, but as they were halfway through the C final, it pissed it down.
Right.
It just bucketed down with rain. There's no cover on Mendip's rostrum, and there never has been on the off-road track. So if it's raining, you stop, because otherwise you're just all getting drenched. They finished off that final though, and then we stopped, and I went up to the guys in race control and I just said, do you know what, I'm done. Take me out. I'm literally, I'm not going to put my car down on that. Mm-hmm. I'm done. I'm going to go from not enjoying myself to really being annoyed after having a car that I've worked with all day to get a nice dry setup on, and now it's peeing down with rain. I'm done, man. I'm going home. So I just had an early finish. I got them to take me out the meeting, so I didn't kind of affect anybody else. I know regionals mean a lot to a lot of people, so rather than my score be in the last round, even though it would have been back at the B final if it had ran, rather than that ruin somebody else's year, I thought, no, take the score out, done, whatever. And that was pretty much it, mate, for me. It's just one of those weekends where probably should have had a weekend off. Maybe just give the thumbs a rest for a weekend.
I think we all have those. I tell you, I had a great one of those this weekend. Up with us was Gavin Crawler.
Okay, yeah.
Super quick at all the Upals, super quick at the regionals. Mm-hmm. He's going to the F2, 3s and 4s and 5s. So when you see him, ask him how his last regional went, because he never finished a round.
Mm.
He was in instead of being in the A, he was in the bottom final.
Yeah.
And then he never finished his final.
Well, shit happens sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just how it was. I mean, you got guys there that were having some wicked battles on the track. It was great to watch. Dan Hurrell was having an even more horrible day than I was.
Good.
But it was one of those things where I'm watching Dan go round and I go, God, man, he's flying round. I'm watching John Howe go around the track, John Finch go around the track, the RC Octane John Finch, and I'm watching them kind of going, yeah, man, you guys are flying round. So yeah, I'm guessing, a lot of people enjoyed themselves over the weekend. I certainly can't take just my sort of crappy, annoying, hard weekend to be what it was for everybody. A lot of people had a really good time, and the guys did the best job they could with what it was. There was some.
You're a better man than me. If I was in that kind of bad mood, I'd just take it out on everyone.
Yeah, I think what I did was I know I've got a podcast to do every week, so what I did was I called you, and I went and beep beep, because clearly I've had warnings now from Eric about my swearing, so I'm trying to cut that down.
Aggressive. It was aggressive swearing.
It fucking was not.
It was. We were discussing it. What do you call it? Because I'm like, somebody went, but Aidan swears all the fucking time. And he goes, no, Eric's like, no, you had to get a strike for that. No.
Well, apologies to anybody who thought that was aggressive swearing last week. It certainly wasn't.
You only need to apologise to one man. Only one man thought it was aggressive swearing.
Nobody else has mentioned it, to be fair.
Yeah. No one else has mentioned it.
Well, there you go. I got a strike for upsetting Eric, but
yeah,
there you go. Yeah, and at the top end of the field there, but Brian Burrows pulled an absolute blinder out the bag. He really did, unbelievably good. Dan Harding, awesome watching him drive around. Same as the likes of Paul Penny, Martin Owen. You got Mark Hancock up there, and it just you're talking about a field of drivers who can all put it to each other on a given day. It was there was some really, really good and close racing going on.
So if you didn't go to that one, does this mean you're then going to the rearranged one?
No, there isn't a rearranged one, is there?
I thought they were going to have a rearranged one.
No. Because you pointed out that the date hadn't been previously put on, it couldn't be used as a scoring round.
No, it could. You couldn't penalise anyone who didn't make it.
You couldn't do. It didn't add to the scoring rounds.
No, it didn't go 3 to 4. It would still stay at 2 to 4.
Yeah. So no, I think because it didn't go from that, then the idea was dropped.
Oh, so I can't go to Cornwall now either.
No, it would have been Torch.
Oh, would it have been Torch? Oh, well, no, thanks. I can't go to Torch.
Well,
it's not my fault. Stickler for the rules, me, mate.
You are.
Stickler. I refed a whole round. Everyone was very well behaved. I don't think we had any. I don't think there was any penalties given out. No, don't think there was any altercations or words or anything. It's a really good weekend. Everyone had a great time.
Yeah, similar thing for us, mate. Similar thing for us. Nobody fell out. It was not that I saw anyway. It was it was all chilled out. Everyone was having a decent time. I think it was more the threat of the rain this weekend that was the thing that was putting the edge on everything else. It was it was meant to have rained by the time we all got there, and it hadn't rained at all overnight. Track was bone dry from the minute we got there, which meant it was just super grippy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was there in the background pretty much all day, boiling hot in the morning, and then just cooled off a bit. And as soon as the clouds came over and cooled off, you could almost feel it was going to rain. It was just there, and I do think that put everybody a little bit on edge and put the pressure on to get you good rounds in early. That was the key, I think, getting those early good rounds in.
I wasn't going to get early good round because I was like slightly tired.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Tired.
I can imagine.
I tried to stay out of people's way. And to be honest, I had a half decent run when I tried to stay out of everyone's way and just drove my car around, and everyone else had a stinker.
Yeah, and
So,
I mean, you got to mention all the other regionals that went on. You've got the Easy region. There's at Bury this week.
Oh, you sort of disappeared there. So the North East were at Bury. They were there both days. I spoke to Birdie on Sunday because he was at our regional.
Yeah,
who'd been at the Bury region, the North East region on Saturday, and said, "No, yeah, great day, really nice." Birdie's a big fan of the 2-day regional thing.
Do you
know
what? I'm not a fan of it.
You're not?
No, I'm not a fan of a 2-day regional. I think they work. They do work, clearly. Everybody had a great time at them this year, but it's just... I've got enough weekends where I'm away for a weekend.
Mate, yeah, we'd struggle to fit these things in. Never mind getting the 4-wheel drive heat to this. So, the North East were at Bury. I think Crompton won. Both things.
Oh, nice.
I got some updates because a lot of the Kyosho boys are North East. So a lot of them were there. A couple of guys have come back and driving Kyoshos and seem to be doing really well. A couple of really good results.
Yeah. Are you currently thumbing through your phone for results?
No, I'm a professional.
I can hear you thumbing through your phone for results.
A professional. I'm an absolute professional. Actually, I think Ben Jemison won 2-wheel drive. Then Crompton, then one of our Kyosho guys, David Snee, Andy Woods, Schumacher, he was 4th, Jack Hurst, Neil Adamson. Oh, look, another Kyosho guy. Jeff Steele, Connor Cocker, Harry Britton, Peter Craig. So they've got a veteran and a couple of kids in their A-final. Whereas we had 2 kids come 1st and 2nd, I think, in ours, the Holdsworths.
Blimey. So
North East were there at Bury. Let's try and remember who everyone else is. The South East were at I thought they're like Eastbourne or something.
Yeah.
They run on grass. Somebody was at Bingham. I don't know whether that was...
Someone.
Yeah, it was either the Mid-East or the Mid-South. Don't know. One of them. And the Midwest
Club?
had the... What, mate?
The Dumfries Club up at... Have you mentioned them?
No, I was getting to them.
Okay.
And then I think the Midwest had theirs at Coventry. So literally everyone had a region this week, and the Nationals are next week. No, the Jockos had their region.
Well,
but
I think what we've got to mention as well is that out of the 2 regions that me and you race in, Southwest and the Northwest, I think you'll find in 2-wheel drive it was a Big Blue Tent member that won overall in both. Mark Hancock won the overall 2-wheel drive in the Southwest.
Yes.
And I think it was Chris Everson up in the Northwest that won your 2-wheel drive championship.
Yeah, he did. I think he had nearly enough had it sewn up. Mark Smith had the TQ and win, I think. To take it to a draw. But Ever was on holiday, so I think he was getting updates round by round.
Sorry, I just had a moth land on my head. Oh, now it's flying at my face.
Okay, calm down, chill out.
Things are okay.
It shows the difference. I every so often harassed by police, ninjas, youths, but don't worry, mate. Somerset, really hardcore. Every so often there's a fucking moth.
There is. Who won the 4-wheel drive for your region?
I have absolutely no idea.
That is shocking.
Shocking. No idea. Well, I've never seen a final because I'm always halfway home by then.
Dan, you know the Torbay Club, they do the track off-road meetings.
Oh yes.
It was Dan Harding, guy that runs that. He took the 4-wheel drive title from Mark Hancock. See, Mark is just at the top of both of them. regardless of where you go. He's an absolutely top quality driver, Mark. But yeah, Dan took the four-wheel drive title this year, so big congrats to him as well. I know he was pretty happy about that. But
I've had Eric try and work out our F gradings.
Oh, cool.
Cool's that?
Cool.
Well, you can only do mine. So Eric's thing is that we think if you look at the Northwest overalls, the last F2. This is not settled because a few of our national drivers have got chances of getting F2s or F1.9s at nationals, and then they would be taken out. So we've got some people who need decent results to help them, to be honest, to help the region, to help their mates out. Eric thinks provisionally that the last F2 is a guy called Mark Anthony Jones, and we all love Mark Anthony Jones.
Okay.
And to be honest, as soon as he said, I think you're going to be an F3 as well, didn't care, didn't really notice. So I think 2 or 3 places below me will still also be an F3.
Yeah.
Now that will change depending on Stoffeld. But so I've done okay, mate. Really
good.
And I don't think I've had a decent. We've only had 4 rounds. I don't think I've had a really good score anywhere.
No, so, but you got to remember, not everybody's at all the regionals.
No, I think that's it. It's helped us. So there's things, but yeah, we were talking about Scottish regionals, or I'm going to call it the Scottish National Champions because it's just jocos. So we'll talk about that more. But what we'll do is we'll talk about that with somebody who was there.
That sounds like a great idea, mate. Who have we got coming on this week?
Well, just to make sure that we cover all the areas, we've got Allan O'Brien coming on.
Oh, great news.
That's if we can tear him away from gluing up some tyres for
have they got internet in Scotland?
I've no idea, mate. I think this fellow's from like Edinburgh, so maybe we'll ask him.
Okay.
We ask him. We certainly don't want to know any more about a KC or a KD, do we?
Oh God, no.
And he is a Schumacher driver, though. He is one of those ones who changes a lot.
Oh, is he? Okay.
So yeah, one of them. We can talk about that as well. I'll try and press some buttons, and hopefully,
do you think
magically, Alan will appear?
Well, we will soon see if that's the case.
Though I did send him a message before.
Hello.
Saying, hey.
Oh, hi, mate.
Hello.
How you doing, man?
I'm not bad. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm all good. What have you been up to, bud? Gluing some tyres from what I've just been told.
Pretty much. Getting prepared for this weekend.
Stockfold, eh?
That's the one.
Haven't you just come from a weekend of grass racing?
Yep. Which is obviously, I only get 4 days and I leave like 8 o'clock on Friday morning. I don't particularly like to go down unprepared, so busy couple of days the last couple of days.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. What sort of prep are you doing for it then, other than gluing the tyres?
I
mean, obviously it's a Schumacher, so you're probably going to have.
I've done all my shock seals, both my cars. I've had fresh shock seals, fresh diff seals in my 4-wheel drive.
Yeah.
The full works, really. Pretty much everything. So,
do you do that for all of them then?
I tend to do it for every national, especially if I've come off a grass meeting. That they can be obviously quite dirty. Shock seals get quite bad from those meetings. So yeah, if it's one Astro meeting to another, not necessarily. Depends how they feel when they come out of the car.
Okay.
Nice. That's good. How did you get on at the weekend?
I TQ'd and won both classes at the weekend, so that was a good way to finish off the season.
Oh, Schumacher's known for being good on grass.
Well, they've always seemed to have been pretty good up our way, but to be fair, the cars have been excellent on the grass this year. I can't fault them at all. So
they've looked good everywhere I've seen them, to be honest. I mean, you were at the International with us, and Orlowski and Jameson going round, they did look really, really good going around the track. I can't deny it.
Yeah, the cars were good. The cars were good at the International as well. They've been good everywhere so far.
Do you not get put off by the noise of them?
Can't hear anything. Don't know what you're talking about. No idea what you're talking about.
I hadn't really noticed the noise until Tipsy got a KC. But so the Scottish regional that you did, were you on a KC or a KD on
KC.
grass?
I've not used the KD at all this year. I've tried it in a couple of heats, but I tend to use the KC all the time.
Okay.
And is it literally put a ball diff in, maybe move the shocks to the back?
No, I don't even move the shocks to the back. I leave them on the front, just a ball diff. Sometimes, once the grass gets a bit worn, 4 degrees toe on the rear. Sometimes a brass hanger, but out with that, no, just the same. So, yeah.
That's it. So we'll never see any other cars again if we're all using lay-down cars, even in the wet.
Well, yeah, it's sort of going that way. Like I say, I took my KD out for a couple of heats this year in the regionals, but I was faster with the KC. They just rotate quicker, especially with the shocks on the front. If the track's tight, you can get round the corners a lot quicker on those cars.
They hold the corners quicker as well. I think you can carry a lot more. You can just
go
into
slow,
them quicker.
Yeah, if they grip slow, it's like it's keeping the momentum going, because with a lay-down car, especially when they grip slow, if you lose momentum and you have to get that like sort of drive going again, that's when you struggle.
Yeah. They like a fast, flowy, sweeping track. I think this generation of cars anyway, it's they're very quick, very low to the ground, and the corner speeds are incredible that you can get out of them. It's almost like when you slow them down to a point, they kind of don't like it.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, especially, and even more so when they grip slow. They really don't like it at that point. That's when you struggle to get your traction back. It's all about keeping that traction up. So
yeah. That's probably why I'm rubbish.
So are you guys using darts or ballistics up there in the wet?
In the wet, I personally use ballistic blues in the wet.
So, because are all your rounds grass?
Every round is grass. We sometimes have an Astro round in the calendar, but the majority of them's grass, and I prefer blues because when the grass is... There's not a lot of grass usually, but when it's muddy, the harder spike digs in for more traction. I prefer them. So that's why I use them. Although greens are okay. I back, like, at the weekend, although it was dry, it was damp in places, and I back-to-backed blues and greens. But what I find with greens is they tend to clog up with mud more than blues do.
Okay.
All right. I think we did use blues on... I didn't use blues this year. I think we used them last year on a grass. But that's because that was more like moss.
Yeah. No, they're good. They're good as long as the ground's soft. If the ground was hard, then the greens are better. But if the ground's soft, they get so much traction just because they dig in.
Yeah.
Nice.
So,
how long do you find they're lasting when they're like that? I mean, is the set of blues doing you for a day?
They barely wear. Yeah, you can use them for a season.
Wow, man.
They don't really wear at all.
So I should just get what I should do is just not race on grass. That's the first thing I should try and work on. But if I do, just have one set of blues glued up, do you think? And they should last me all year.
They do. They work perfect as well. They don't wear. Like kind of like greens, like you'll notice yourself if you race on Astro and greens, they don't have really a high wear rate just because of the traction. So
I'd agree to a point. With that. But then when you're at that point where the track's kind of, especially on Astro, especially sandy Astro, new Astro's not so bad. I expect you guys up at Southport, Aidan, you probably find a set of greens will last probably another couple of runs from what we get at Mendip.
But I think you're right. If you go to Bury, they wear a bit more because of the sand in there.
Yeah, no. And obviously as a track changes and you go from a sort of damp to a drier condition, then you instantly ruin a set within a run.
Yeah.
So
I mean, Bury,
you do.
When the track was drying out with Bury, I put a new set of silver darts on the back, And I can remember coming off after that qualifying round and looking at them, because half the track was just as grippy and bone dry as it could be, and they were just torn to pieces. There was like hardly any spike left on them whatsoever after one heat, and you're going, wow, that's just cost me a tenner to run rear tyres in that heat.
So as soon as they get on anything dry, they're just going to tear them up. So
it killed him. It killed him so quick.
So is Robin Hood your closest Astro track?
No, Southport.
Oh, is it? I'm just trying to think where do you live in Scotland?
So I'm just outside Edinburgh.
Okay, I just want to...
Yeah, Southport's my closest. Although Robin Hood feels like my home track, because that's the one I race at the most.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what's closer now, Ulverston.
Yeah, Ulverston is. Although, mileage-wise, between Ulverston and Southport, it's not a lot, because when you come down the M6, you're kind of going west.
Yeah.
But you're not that... Honestly, the distance isn't a whole lot between them.
Yeah. And then Ulverston is up the world's biggest cul-de-sac.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. 35 miles to go nowhere.
Yep.
Okay, so you've had a good season. So are you the top Scottish driver in the country? Well, did you win overall?
I did, yes. I did win both classes, so that's a good, successful season.
And what are your regionals? How many are you getting up there?
Between the two classes, I had a quick look earlier, so... This isn't people that completed every round, but obviously attended certain rounds. We had 124 drivers over the two classes.
Nice. Okay.
So it's kind of since I've been doing it up here, it's a record for us because the numbers were lower than that. But it really picked up a lot this year, so it was really busy.
That's good. That is a good thing. Yeah, I think it is kind of generally either holding pretty stable at a lot of clubs, which is a good thing, because I think quite a few have seen a little bit of a decline for a year or two. But I do think now it's kind of either holding a bit firmer with the numbers that are turning up to the meetings, or it's kind of starting to increase a bit all round. Really, we are now starting to see a few more younger faces.
Certainly an increase for us. Definitely, we've noticed a lot more kids coming in as well. Yeah. And they're loving it and coming back, and it's great that it's grown up here for us. But we have one Astro track in Scotland, and it is further away from me than Southport. So that is the issue. It is 3.5 hours north for me. It's only 189 miles, but it's the worst road in the world, and it takes 3.5 hours to get to.
Right up the sort of eastern edge.
Past Inverness. It's north of Inverness.
Whoa, let's have a race meeting there.
See, the most northern point I know is Wick, and I know they've got an airport.
It's right beside Wick. It's literally half an hour from Wick.
Well, you can get the plane up there.
It is a long way. I mean, it's a good track. It's small, and with 10 cars on the track, it is busy. But it's just the only road up there is an average speed camera, 60 mile an hour road, almost the whole way. So,
I had a guy up there that bought some solar panels off of me when I was working for a solar panel company up in Southport years ago. Oh God, I cannot remember his name now, but he was great, and our rep used to go up that road to see people that he'd recommended the panels to, and I can just remember the phone calls to our rep, Jez Todd, and he hated that road. He said, once you're on it, that's it. You're not doing anything else but just trying to get to the other end of that road.
The first time you drive it, you get into it and it's nice, and you look about and it's really scenic, and there's snow on the hills, and then after 15-20 minutes of that, that's it. You're used to it, and that's all you see. It's a horrendous drive. Definitely. We need a more central Astro track. I mean, like I say, it's growing in Scotland, but we need something more central, and it's always the usual. People are worried, or they say, people won't help, people won't get involved, but it's something we need to do. We need to make it happen. We need to find a way to make it happen.
Can none of your grass tracks convert to Astro then? Is that not something they consider?
Well, the thing is, our main one, I don't know, did either of you come to the UFO series up here?
No.
No.
So that was the track that was up here.
That's because it was grass. That's the reason we didn't go to
It was
Teesside.
actually great. It was sunny and it was great, but that was that's Nora, and that started off as a grass track. They did have Astro down. The problem was the way it was done. The underneath wasn't done properly, and the moles came up through it.
Oh, nightmare.
So it all got taken back up, and it went back to a grass track. So all the Astro's still sitting at the side, but it would need replaced now. I mean, we have people with access to machinery and stuff. It's just the commitment and putting the time in, and people are in the mindset that, even if we do it, people won't attend anymore. But the thing is, they will. I personally, if it's a club meeting and I look out the window and it's raining, I don't go. But if it was AstroTurf, I would, because then I could just use the compressor and clean my car. I don't have to take the bearings apart. I have to take everything to bits to clean it after a club meeting.
Yeah.
I remember one of the Southport Ooples. It rained, and the Southport Oopal guys, Mickey Dunn, Colin McCaffrey, all the guys. I'm sure I'm going to forget one guy called David. They were showing pictures. He goes, "Oh, it's rained all day at Southport. Look at me car." And I remember the other Scots were coming up and going, "What are you talking about? The car looks beautiful."
I could show you some horrendous. To give you an idea, this is unbelievable though, because people always say to me, "Oh, you should be used to the rain." We've had 6 regionals this season, 0 rain, no rain,
perfect.
6 dry regionals. But when there is rain, the sort of standard practice is car home, all the electrics out. I put my car under the shower. I soak my whole car, spray it in muck off dirt like bike cleaner, and I clean my whole car in the shower. That is what happens. And then all the metal comes out. I get it. I clean it all. I make sure it's like WD-40. Make sure that there's nothing going to rust. But that is literally what you have to go through if you have a muddy meeting, and it's disgusting. It's just horrible.
Hence why me and Aidan avoid grass tracks.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you, because when they're dry, they're brilliant. When they're wet, they're fun to drive when they're wet. Unfortunately, the 4 hours of cleaning afterwards per car is horrendous.
There's a local track to me, Tiverton, and they... Sorry, my Siri just went off then on my iPhone for some reason. They have got like a grass section.
I've seen the track, I've seen it.
87% Astro. But that grass section, if you get a bit of rain, your car... in 10 feet of us going across a wet strip of grass is just plastered in it, and it really does. It stops me from going. That's the biggest thing that stops me going to Tiverton, and why I would go to mend it for a practice day. I love racing on grass. Like I say, it's great, and it's especially our local track, the one that was previously Astro. It's a brilliant brilliant grass track, and it was nice when it was Astro as well, but the rain is just the most off-putting factor of grass racing. And I think it puts a lot of people... You get the hardcore club racers, they still go, and my hat's off to them, because I love racing. I live for racing, but that is too much for me at club level. I can't deal with that.
You Scottish people are interested. You want to speak to Paul Westwell, the fella, and other people at because he's thrown that track at Ulverston together. That's 6 months.
No, we definitely need that. It's something a lot of us have been talking about, like just when we've been together at meetings or down the road when we're at Robin Hood, we'll bump into each other and we'll say we need to make this happen at home, and everybody's sort of in agreement, and it's just trying to put those wheels in motion. And we do have people, we know that there's people in the scene up here that have access to machinery and stuff, and it's just coordinating these things, and it definitely needs done.
Well, 2 guys do ours.
Well, the thing is, the track, the one I'm talking about, 3.5 hours north, that's one guy. He done that track on his own.
Wow.
He done it on his own. He basically owned a car garage where that's his business, MOTs and stuff, and he put it in the yard, and it was great.
Wow.
So it can be done. It can definitely be done.
It can. It's finding the people, though. That's the biggest issue I found, because when I moved back down to the southwest after racing at Southport for a year or so, I wanted to do that down here, and just trying to find the space, someone to give you enough land to put a permanent Astro track on. is tough. Even people.
Yeah,
with
and that's
the
what I
space.
think we've kind of got that at Nora. That is a land that we've been using for years now, and I think we could do it there. So we've almost got over one of the biggest hurdles.
Yeah.
With that.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, if you can get the manpower there, it's it's a goer.
Yep,
just need a lot of hardcore, an awful lot of hardcore.
Yeah, see, that's the problem. Like you say, the people. It's getting the people. People are also the problem in that they put the obstacles in the way. Oh, it won't happen. We'll never raise the money. We'll not get enough people. People won't commit. It's just putting obstacles in the way. Those are the things you need to get past. Everything can be done.
Just dig it. That's what we do.
What you need.
Again, it's very easy for me to say this because obviously I turned up and Southport was there.
Yeah.
Other people 20 years before I even thought about this had already sorted it. So, Southport, and, look at what Robin Hood have done, Euros, World sort of bids. That's a great venue in the middle of the country. So, yeah, if you could get something in between Glasgow and Edinburgh, sure, that'd be perfect.
Oh, yeah, that's the thing. That track at Nora is 15 minutes, 20 minutes drive from Edinburgh. So it's perfectly located. It's easily accessible.
Yeah.
So you've got the Nationals coming up this weekend?
Yes.
Okay, so whereabouts are you now? What's your position?
19th.
Ooh, bloody hell.
19th or 20th at the moment. I think in 4-wheel drive and 2-wheel drive I'm something like 26th or 27th. Had a pretty poor start to 2-wheel drive.
What have you got to do in this one to get in the top 20 then?
I reckon if I got like maybe another C or possibly another B would get me there in 2-wheel drive. Nice. And just to try and I've got, I think to count, I've got in 4-wheel drive to count, I've got 3 C's and a B, so if I could maybe drop another C in 4-wheel drive, that would stand me in good stead. Yeah. I mean, I can't complain, it's been my best season so far. I think this is my 3rd season of doing Nationals, and this has by far been my best, so
yeah.
I got my F1 last year, that was my target last year. I think I got in one of the last places, and my 2 goals for this year were make a B final, keep my F1, so I met both of them. So I'm happy with my year. So I've not really got anything to lose this weekend, to be honest.
Who's your money on for the 4-wheel drive title then?
Well, that is going to be tough because that has been good racing all year. That is tough. And then that obviously the Lee's new car looks good. Stotfold. It's hard to see past Neil. Neil's on a bit of form on the Astro at the moment, but then.
He's got the 64 moving as well.
You could honestly, you could toss a coin. You could toss a coin for that meme.
Yeah,
all I can tell you is by the end of the day, you'll be able to throw a blanket over them in the finals.
You generally can with those two, but it's one of those where you kind of. I think it's going to come down to which one of them feels the most pressure on the day. Is it going to be? Is Neil going to feel the most pressure because he's won the 2-wheel drive already, but he's going to want to win the 4-wheel drive, but he knows he's got a title in the bag for this year. Is there going to be a great deal of pressure on him? Don't know. Will he drive better because of that?
I have never seen either of those guys look like they're under any pressure.
Yeah,
ever.
Yeah,
they never look under pressure. I mean, I feel nervous before race. I mean, they've seen it and done it. So once you've seen things and done them, they've fought for titles. They've fought each other. They'll obviously feel nerves, but probably not to the same extent. Like the first time you make an A final, you're so nervous going up for that.
Yeah. The first time I made an A final at Southport.
Yeah.
Literally, I remember walking up the rostrum and Chris Everson-Evo was there, and he went, "You shitting yourself, yeah?" Because he realised this was my first A final, and he's like, and I'm going, So I probably agree with Alan here, especially because of the way they race. We've seen a few times where one of them's tapped the other one, and they always wait. Do you know? So that seems to me like there is less pressure on it because they're just. If there was pressure, they'd probably automatically just go. Like they do at the EOS if they took a cheating X-ray out or something. There'd just be a massive cheer and we'd all hopefully we carried on. So, you know, I love X-rays. Love them dearly. Have you driven an X-ray?
I drove for X-ray for a year.
Did you?
About 3 years ago. Just when they were sort of coming through, but
Did you have one of those awful two-wheel drives that I have?
I had one of them. Yeah.
Awful.
That was one terrible car, unfortunately. It was just, it worked. What they basically slapped that gearbox onto that four-wheel drive and give it a bit of kick-up, and it worked at US. That was all they wanted. It didn't work anywhere else. It did not work anywhere. It worked okay on Astro. It was a nightmare on grass. It was horrific.
Yeah, it was fine for me because I first got it and we were racing on Astro indoors.
Yeah, it would have been good there.
It was ace. And then even I went outdoors to Southport, I went, no, this isn't good.
Yeah. I tried it. I actually raced my first ever national at Southport, and it was with that car. That was my first national with that car. And it was hard work.
So was that the first year you came back to do nationals? You had an X-ray?
No, that was my first year racing off-road. I only started off-road. This is my 5th year. So 4.5 years ago I started off-road.
Okay. So before this you raced on-road?
Before this I sort of had a few years break, but I raced 12th scale Mardaves on oval.
Okay.
I raced them for 2 or 3 years. Before that I had about, I would say, 5-6 years out, and before that it was on road, so slightly, bad memories on road. I hate it these days. I wish I'd found off road years ago. I tell people this all the time. I wish I'd found off road years ago.
Why?
Years and years ago. It's just so much better, so much more fun, better to drive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a difference between the people who race on road and the people who race off road?
Yes, there is.
Well, for us, but Scotland being so small, it's pretty much all the people that race then are the same people that race now. They just do off road.
Okay, right, I see. So
on road pretty much is very. They do race a little bit on road up here, but very little, to be honest with you. That was back in the day when, like, it was big. So like. That was when Craig Drescher was racing, and he would come up here and race with us because he was obviously the shop rep, so he had shops up here and he'd come and race at our clubs and stuff, and on-road was massive then, but I didn't know much about off-road. There was a little bit up here, but I didn't hear much about it, and I wish I had known more about it then, because like say I only picked it up 4.5 years ago, and it's been like playing catch-up for the last 4.5 years. It's been the steepest learning curve.
Do you think racing the on-road helps you with the off-road stuff though?
It's probably helped just hitting apexes and things, but I obviously then had to learn how to jump, how to control a car in the air, all these kind of things. That was the steep learning curve, and setup was massive. So
I mean, the one thing I found, because I did have a GT12 for a while, and I raced.
Done a little bit of that.
Yeah, do you know what? I thought it was great. I raced at the Taunton Club. There was a club that Simon Osborne used to run. For the life of me, I can't think what it's called. It's closed down now. But the one in Taunton, that they run on a Monday night, and I just think that when I raced that, I picked up things about my lines, about my how to corner and carry speed, because with those.
Oh, you need to stay consistent, and then miss an apex, and it's not easy to gain on somebody.
No, not at all.
12, so
no, not at all. No. I do think that taught me a lot about, like you say, keeping the car moving, keeping that speed up, and just keeping your that forward motion going. And you would, I mean, because the lap times were so small. I mean, the hall that they do it in it's quite a small little hall, but because of that, the cars feel like they are going like rockets with a 13.5 turn in them, and the straight's almost not long enough to kind of get top. It is, you're virtually on top end as you come out the corner, but you don't feel like you've got enough to get the full beans out of the car down the straight, because they accelerate that last bit of top end kind of so slowly when they get to that that higher rev range. But yeah, that was good fun. It just, for me, it was too easy to kind of pick it up and do it.
Yeah, they're good for your consistency. They're good for winter when you're maybe not doing much off-road or... Yeah. So, I mean, like, in the winter, I considered doing it this winter, but I do the Works Up series, so...
Whoa, that must be a drive.
Yes, like I say, I've done the Works Up series for the last 2 years, and... So, I mean, I almost feel like Robin Hood's round the corner for me these days. I do it all the time. I do it so often. But, yeah. It's kind of an easy drive now. Compared to places like Torch, where I drive to, Robin Hood feels like nothing.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Torch must be...
Or Stotfold. Stotfold's not exactly the nicest drive for me either.
No, probably isn't.
Stotfold's 360, so...
Oh,
yeah, it's not the closest.
Yeah, and to any of our American friends who listen to these things, these might not sound like big distances, but just motorways are horrific here.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not good.
The extra lane.
The Boughton National was, distance-wise, not the worst. Time-wise, it took me longer than Torch. It took me 8 hours to get to Boughton, just due to the I think, is it the A19? Whatever the road is once you come off the A1, it was just horrific all the way. So bad. Tractors
and everything on that
thing.
Oh,
man, it was like, I think that road took about 3 hours and it should have taken just over an hour. It was, I was pretty suicidal by the time we got to Boughton, honestly.
So, I'm going to pick on this. So, we had an X-ray, and then we went from X-ray to...
good question. X-ray.
Do you want to go backwards? So, you're on a Schumacher now. Before you had a Schumacher, you had a...
Team C.
Team C, right.
I was with Team C the previous national year.
Okay. And then that sort of fell apart and came back again. So what did you have before you?
Well, actually, no. I was with Lossie and prior to that. Sorry, so I was with Lossie and Team C. It was just each year. It just, as I've told people, it just kind of depends on like. It kind of goes on what car you want to use, but also what deal you've got, especially with the amount of racing I'm doing. You've kind of got to look at what financially benefits you, but also what's not going to affect your racing. So. Like, somebody came up to me with, like, an unknown brand that nobody'd heard of and said, we'll give you everything for free and this is all free. I wouldn't turn around and take that because your racing would suffer. You've got to have a balance.
Right, okay.
So, it was just year on year I got offered better deals, but my results, because I started this 4.5 years ago, my results have been sort of just going upwards through those years, so I'm getting offered better deals as I've gone through. So, some of them slag me up here for it. They say, "Oh, who are you going to be with next?" But I'm used to them saying it now.
You're going to join KO Show next season?
Yeah, like I'm just used to them saying it now. But obviously, I've said to people, I'm very happy with where I'm just now. Very happy with the deal I've got, and
it's a great
the car's
team.
been excellent. The team's been brilliant, and I have no intentions of moving anywhere.
So what you're saying is it's going to be a massive check required. If anyone else is listening on Allan O'Brien.
Well, the thing with TLR was, I get slag for the TLR one, but I joined TLR, it's probably my fault, I literally joined within a few weeks, like, Horizon closed in the UK.
Yeah.
It just all fell to bits from there, really, to be honest.
And Team C sort of split apart and changed.
Yeah, it did. Well, obviously, Alex Springer was the team manager, you had Martin Owen, you had everybody. I was in the team at that point. It was quite a big team, but it all sort of splintered off. And I took the decision at that point, once everybody left, I chose to try and maybe move on elsewhere. And obviously Chris Dells had offered me a really good deal at TLR, and I thought, this all sounds great, and then that all just went south really quickly, but everybody knows the way that went.
So basically, don't get a KO Show.
Yeah.
Because we don't want that to fall apart. Get an association.
Schumacher's fine. It's fine. It's not my fault. I'm not taking it now. It's definitely not my fault. Schumacher's been fine.
Yeah, we've been really impressed with the team. You know, those gazebos you sat under at Southport.
Yeah, they're nice.
Gups put them up with Trish.
Oh,
yeah.
Good man.
So if any of them fell over, that was Gups trying to sabotage the entire team.
There's more chance of them sinking than falling over.
You know what?
That was
at some point, one of them will fall over.
That bit that we were on, I think, like, Trish must have walked around and thought, let's find the boggiest, wettest place. When we got there on the Saturday morning, when it had been torrential overnight, I needed to sweep it out. I had to get a brush and sweep the water out of the gazebo.
Yeah, that's what we get Southport, yeah.
I mean, I've seen it slightly before, but that was unbelievable.
You got to remember there that the field is under the sort of water table at Southport, so when the tide's in, you're screwed if it's rained, because it's just not going anywhere.
It was mad how wet it was in there.
Yeah, the track's bone dry. We drain our track. That's fine. Just wear boots. That's why I look at people and go, why is the fella wearing flip-flops and trainers? You want like wellies at Southport if there's been any rain
like say, we swept it out, but that was, I mean, we had a ground sheet down, and when we took them up at the end of the weekend, it was literally, I've never seen anything like that. That was fun. People were like, just leave these ground sheets. Let's not take them home. Let's just leave them.
Aid will pick them up and throw them in the
put them in the bin. That's honestly what
He'll put
they were that wet.
Post up about people leaving rubbish at the site.
I quite often do that. Take pictures of rubbish that people have left.
I don't blame you. People should take their stuff with them. I mean, clubs put on these events. They put through so much effort. Why should they put your rubbish away as well?
Well, to be honest, mate, we did as we cleared, and I'm sure this is the same at every national. Everyone sort of left, and we turned round and literally handed them bin bags to people to go and pick the rubbish up, and then if someone got a wheelbarrow to pick the bags up. There was nothing. There was nothing on that.
No, I seen everybody, like, I gathered my stuff up, chucked it in the skip, and there was tons of people doing the same thing. So they were all lovely people who looked after our slightly boggy field. Yeah. I say they should do it. You do enough over the weekend with prep in advance and over the weekend without having to deal with everybody's rubbish as well. So.
No, I just tend to sit off, and other people do. It's great. I just sit there and watch the race.
Delegate.
That's all I do.
That's what it's
don't even delegate. I think drink early is the main thing.
Yeah, definitely.
We get on the G&T straight after practice. That's my job done. I time keep practice. Guppy, you probably saw, sat there for 2 hours while practice went on, and that was it. We were off to we were cutting up limes to go on our G&Ts.
I'll never forget the. Was it which Oopal was it? Was it the first one we all did together was the Mendip one, wasn't it, back in 2014? And the Saturday morning when I got out of my world's smallest caravan, Aidan's basically there with a bottle of champagne opened, kind of ready to go, and you're like, oh man, this is how this weekend's going to be. Yeah,
on race day. Okay. Yeah, this is on race day.
Yeah. This is
nice.
This is before practice has started.
Before practice. Yeah.
In the morning.
If you have a couple of Bucks fizzes, I'm sure I had some fresh orange juice. To be honest, guys, I did it on Saturday.
Every race meeting we go to.
Yeah, a lovely couple of chilled bottles of Prosecco. I bought glasses for everyone. Quite a few of us sat round and had
this is why qualifying's no good for us on Saturdays at Oopal. You know that, don't you?
I was chatting to Michael Orlovsky about this earlier because it was his birthday today, and I was like, "What age are you?" And he was saying, "I'm 16." I was like, "Oh, when you're 18, we'll get a beer and we'll do it properly." And I was saying that I've only ever once turned up to a proper late.
Oh, Alan, I don't know if you can hear me, mate. We lost you. I lost you then.
Because I've been at a house party the night before.
Hang on, mate. We lost you then. Yeah, you've literally come back now. We lost you right at the very start, and you came out right at the very end.
So, okay, cool. So, you hear me okay now, yeah?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. So, did you hear this? So I said I spoke to Michael Orlovsky today, because it's his birthday, and I was asking what age he was. He said, I'm 16. I was like, when you're 18, do it properly. We'll get some beers and stuff next time you're at Oopal. And I told him, like, I only ever once got drunk, like, properly for a big meeting. And it was probably when I was, like, 15, 16 and used to go to, like, house parties and stuff. But I was so hungover, I was sick before the meeting started, and my dad said that if I ever done it again, he was never taking me racing again.
Yeah.
And I mean, trying to drive like that, though, is just so hard. It's bad enough driving sober when you're racing, but driving like that, it was a long day. But you get that. I remember at Upal, so many people at Upal wake up on the Sunday morning at the Invernation, and I've seen people miss round 4 quite regularly at the Invernation, and then just crawl out their tents for the finals.
Yeah, that's it. You've got so much track time. You can afford to miss that Sunday qualifier sometimes. I think
you used to always hear over the tannery would be, can somebody marshal for Kirky? DJ. Can somebody marshal for Kirky? Has anybody seen him? He's still in bed. Can somebody marshal for him? Because he was the worst. He never used to make it out for that round.
Do you know what? It was the year at Southport that Damo got on the mic, and he was clearly not even into the hangover. He was clearly just still pissed. And on the mic, that was a funny day, that one.
That's horrible when you're like that, though. It's hard work because presumably he was racing that day as well.
Yeah.
I started videoing it and then realised he was that drunk. It wouldn't be good to show, so I stopped videoing it. That's how drunk he was.
Yeah, God, that was funny though.
It's good. So, you enjoyed the Invernation?
I thought it was brilliant. I had a great time. I didn't start too well. I mean, I took the family down, but we went via Blackpool, and I was so ill in Blackpool. I had like a sickness bug, and I thought this is going to carry right into the Invernation. I'm going to have a horrendous weekend. But practice day, I didn't feel very well, and then Saturday I felt great, so it all just got better from there. It was a really good weekend. Really enjoyed it.
Awesome. Yeah, it was. Have you done any of the others, or was that your first one?
The Invernationals I've done, I think that was my 4th Invernational.
Okay.
3rd or 4th. So I've done 2 on clay and 2 on Astro.
How do you think it compared to the other years with like the sort of with the endurance race and all that sort of stuff?
So the only thing I miss from the International is the Ring of Fire.
Okay.
That is fun when they do that. Other than that, though, this was probably one of the best. The endurance race was a good laugh. I've still got a sore foot from somebody jumping on it in that assault course at the start. It is literally still sore. What? Honestly, I had like bruises. My foot was swollen for about 3 days after it.
Man,
it was amazing.
No way.
It was so much fun.
I didn't know that.
Whoever came up with that idea for that assault course thing for the start of the endurance race, that was genius. That was good fun.
Yeah, it was. They made the most of everything that was there, and the band were good as well in the evening and that, and it was it was a blinder of a weekend.
It helps when you get the weather. The weather was good. It always makes it. Yeah. The racing was good. I enjoyed all of it, to be honest. I had a great weekend. So my family enjoyed it. They loved the fact that there was the bouncy castles and the kids were happy. And
that's it. It is sort of much more sort of family orientated than I suppose the series is. It's much more got that, like we said on previous shows. It's definitely got that more sort of festivally feel to it.
Oh yeah. Everybody goes, well, you see, you're for yourself the Saturday night. Everybody went. They all go for the party. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. And
I seen people on the Sunday morning, and they looked like this was maybe 8 a.m. and they came out of their bed, and I was like, when did you go to bed? And they're like, about 5:30, and I'm like, can tell. Yeah, rough.
Yeah.
Natalie Williams, that's you I'm talking about, by the way.
Okay. I think there were a few that stayed up to the early hours, though.
Oh yeah, honestly, the thing is, a lot of them they did go back to their bed, but I just can't do it. I cannot do it. Or I could, but I just wouldn't function the next day.
Yeah, that's it.
Right.
That's it. I would need the next day in bed after that now.
Yeah.
Years ago I probably would have.
It's a party, it's a festival, but as I've said to other people, although it's like that, I still go to race. And that's still sort of my main focus, because it's still a race meeting for me, and I still enjoy the racing. And if I drank too much or I was hungover, I wouldn't enjoy my racing as much. And I've still got to drive up the road at night. So
the way I see it is, if there was just a party on and no racing, I probably wouldn't have driven to the other end of the country to be there.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. So
as much as I want to be there and I want to enjoy the good time with everybody as well, that weekend for me again, I went out with Mark Hancock and Rob and Chris Busby and Trev Hale and a few others that came up with us, and a lot of them that they all wanted to go and drink afterwards, and I was the one sat in the hotel doing my shocks, doing my diff, and getting stuff ready for racing the next day.
Me as well. I mean, I didn't go to the party this time, especially because my family were there, so I had to take the kids back to the hotel, get them dinner, bathed. They couldn't leave everything to the wife because she obviously had them all day during the day. Nice. Although you might have seen like my wee man like just running out of the like pitting area with my car constantly. like bring it back to me and it was covered in dirt. It was like my actual car, not my spare one. Well, I'm looking for it, I've got a heat in 10 minutes and the car's not on my desk. But he loved it. So
he's been driving it through the puddles on the clay track.
Oh man, he was putting it through like there's piles of dirt and he was just running it through and my tyres were just caked in dirt and stuff, and I'm like, well, that'll give me a lot of grip for the first few practice laps for each heat. Thanks for that. I tried to give him like my spare car, but it's as if he knows it's not like that's the car I'm not using. He wants the one I'm using. He knows that's not the car you're using, Dad. I want that one.
Yeah, of course he does, man.
Most of the time we managed to distract them with the bouncy castles stuff. They loved it. They didn't want to go home. They were like, can we just stay for another couple of hours and play with our friends? We're like, everybody's going home. They're all going.
The bouncy castles have gone.
Yeah, they loved it. I think my wife was a bit apprehensive about going to the Inverness, but the last meeting I'd taken her to, I took the whole family to the Euros, and it was more serious, obviously, at Robin Hood. It's not obviously your festival feel, it's deadly serious, a week of racing, and it's just non-stop. So, yeah, the Inverness.
I think I actually bumped into your missus at the Euros. Was your little one really small?
4 weeks old. I took him, so obviously I was sharing a hotel room with a 2-year-old and a 4-week-old, so I did not sleep very much that week either.
Yeah, I remember going, you can sit down there because you've got like a tiny baby.
Yeah, that'll be my wife.
No, she was like, no, he's on now. So watching all the time. We were like, make a little gap. Come on, here you go, lady, tiny baby. I'll tell you what, that's when did you drive a yoke then?
I did. I was with LMR at that point.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
Because I've mentioned you before because I was thinking of Alan as the guy who, when the...
I remember that infamous thread. I've heard you mention it on here, and I remember that infamous thread about the Ackerman being back to front on that. Oh my god, I used to tear my hair out with that conversation.
That was it.
Oh, God.
That was great. Is that then the issue with... Clearly you're a decent driver, understand how these things work. So when you're helping people, you sort of don't help them on an open internet forum, you'll just sort of send
you'll see me, I'm still active on it, Paul, but like you said at that point, I even backed that argument up with, I've just spoken to Lee, but people will still argue with it, and Lee told you that himself. Lee will tell people things and they'll argue with him. There's only so much you can tell people though, sometimes.
Yeah, there is.
And it'll help, and if they, I might not always be right, and you don't have to take my advice, but if you want to ask it, I'll give you my opinion, or what I think. That's the best I can do, really.
And then what one of the things we also talk get Guppy's phrase, and I'm stealing it, pick a guru, pick one person. I don't think what you can do is, you can't then ask you for something, and then ask somebody else, because they might deal with the problem in a completely different way.
People have different opinions on things. For example, the picture you posted the other night in the pub discussing roll centres.
Yes.
You can sit some of the top people down and get them to discuss it. You'll get a few different opinions.
Yes.
And this is it. I think what some people do in that case is keep asking people until they get the answer that they wanted to hear.
Yeah, that's probably right. The way I'd done it, because obviously, like I said, it was a steep learning curve for me and I hadn't ever done off-road, I'd done a lot of reading online. Yeah. And you have to try and separate stuff because you do find things are wrong. Quite often things are wrong. Even in known setup books, there's places like known manufacturers that release setup books. There's things that are wrong in them as well. Yeah. Just got to watch. You've just got to... The more you read things and the more you read the same opinion, then you start to feel, well, that must be the right one if this is the constant one. But you just have to pick and choose what you take in, really. So... That's how I done it. I just read a lot and tested things. That's the be all and end all. You have to test things. At that track that was 3.5 hours away from me up north, I used to go and stay there for a couple of nights, and I used to just test things. I used to put my car out, shortest camber link I could on the back, write down what it done. Longest camber link, write down what it done. And I just done this for all different parts of the car until I knew what they'd done, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, you've got to do it. You've got to do it.
Oh, so did you even do what you said there? Literally start with the longest camber link you could put on, and then the next change was the shortest.
Yep, and then you know the polar opposite ends of the scale. What it does in the shortest, what it does in the longest. Then the same for the roll centres, the highest possible, then the lowest possible, and just write down how the car behaves to see how it's going to react to these changes.
To notice what a change is doing, you've got to make a significant change so that you can notice the difference between one run and another. Because you might find that sometimes adding a mill washer isn't going to be something that you necessarily notice enough for you to go, well, yeah, I can definitely tell I've got more initial or less initial going into the corner now. Sometimes you need to go, no, I'm going full on, top to bottom on the next two runs. And it's that gives you the idea that, okay, going this way gives me more or less of whatever.
Yeah, you have to do big changes. Polar opposite ends of the scale. One end to the other, and then flip them. Say, I used to just write it down, and then just keep a log of what all these things done. Mm-hmm. Because it confused me. I'd imagine anybody listening to this will be saying, well, these changes are confusing. What does it do when I make them?
Yeah, if I raise that longer up, it actually makes something go down. And
you raise your inner link on the rear camber link. The roll centre goes down and stuff. These things can get really confusing really quickly. And it's hard to get your head around them.
It is.
And if you're typing something or telling someone something,
I think the other side of this is it's difficult not just to get your head around them, but to keep your head around them.
Oh, completely.
It's
you've got to
so
be doing it a lot.
easy to have that I know what I'm doing attitude and completely forget half the things you should be doing or looking at because you think you've already got it there. And I think everyone's as guilty of it, I think, at some point. But it does show when you've got like that, you almost have to say to yourself, hang on a minute, what are you doing? You're not getting anywhere else by doing this. You need to go back to what you were doing before and kind of fresh it out again, if you like.
Yeah. No, it doesn't always stay fresh, like you say. If you don't do something for a while, you don't make a change for a while, sometimes you'll be sitting there thinking, I need my car to do this, what can I change? And you might know how to do it, but you've just forgotten. Yeah. It's one of these things, it's if you don't do it regularly, and I'm sure people like Lee Martin and so on, I'm sure they find these things as well. The answer doesn't just come straight to them. I mean, I've heard Lee on this show say that he's went back from a national, he couldn't get his car quite where he wanted it, and he's just sat, stared at the car, he stares at his car, thinks things through. You just have to do that sometimes. It's just what you have to do. I mean,
in fact, he mentioned a couple of people and said, I just asked this fella.
In a way, though, having a team like, let's say, the Schumacher gazebos, there's a lot of us in there, you can ask what would you do? How did your car go? Have you made any changes? What did it do? You've got other people that are making changes all the time. Ask them what they found. It's always good to ask. Yeah. Gives you an idea maybe what to try. Somebody might have tried something that you've not thought of.
I mean, you've been a part of a few different teams, so I mean, what as far as the teams go, obviously now you're gonna say Schumacher, but which one have you found to be sort of the most useful as far as the information or being able to get it or being able to get the help and the support that you need? And by you know as a racer what I mean by the support, and it's not being able to pick up a set of arms at the shop.
I've got two teams, obviously, that I've talked to about. The two that have been best for me are Schumacher is one of them because there's a lot of experienced people in that team, but they're approachable. Tom Yardy's excellent. Chris Yardy is really helpful. Matt Dodd, Trish Neal, despite looking after a whole team, will give you his time on a race day. You know he's busy. You just have to pick your time, but he's very helpful. I tend to pit with Phil Slay. He's very helpful, very knowledgeable, done a lot in racing. But prior to that, the other team that I had my best experiences with, when I joined Team C, obviously they had Kev Lee and they had Craig Collins, and Kev left for PR very soon after I joined, but then Craig was sort of their top driver. I didn't really know Craig, but he became sort of one of my best sort of friends in the racing scene, and he was always helpful. Like, you could ask Craig anything. I probably learned most from Craig in all my time so far, and I'm still really good friends with Craig now, and we still discuss, set up a pit with him at Worksop, and yeah, we still chat about these things. These days, Craig's still a good help to me. And obviously, as you've seen at Nationals, Craig is quick. Very quick.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah, without a doubt.
He every so often he travels to Southport. Certainly when we do indoors, he's travelled to a few.
Yeah, I remember him going up there.
And he just destroys everything. It's just unbelievable. Just so quick.
Craig's super consistent.
Super consistent. Mate, he was putting it to Orlowski and Jameson at the Invernation. It was...
Yeah, and I mean, well, Craig won the National at Robin Hood last year. So he beat Lee and Neil at Robin Hood last year in four-wheel drive. That was his first A-final win. He's only just earned the title of the most A-finals without a win, so he was happy to get rid of that. He'll be glad I reminded him of that.
You okay?
So yeah, but he deserved it. I mean, yeah, he probably should have won more, to be honest. He deserves more. He's extremely consistent, and yeah, like I say, he was one of the most helpful people to me.
What
and
do you
still
do?
Is, to be honest.
What do you do if you're an RC racer and you've been born at the same time as Lee and Neil?
Oh, exactly. What do you do? What do you do if you're born at the same time as them and only picked this up 4.5 years ago? I'm never going to catch them.
Yeah, that's it.
But no chance.
Yeah, but that then throws Guppy's thing about, well, I've only been doing it for 5 or 6 years. You've only been doing it for 4. Gups, come on, where's your F1?
Well, I never wasted loads of years with on-road, so you know, you can say 4, but the experience is, you know, more than that. You're talking about somebody who, you know, was, well, how many places was I behind you at the Invernation?
Where did you qualify?
He doesn't look any lower than himself.
I qualified 5th.
Okay, so I was like, you know, places behind you at the Invernation. It's not far back.
I watched you at the Invernation. You were driving well.
Oh man, it was tough. I found that the tough meeting. I didn't feel like I was getting anywhere near the pace out of the car I know it's got, and it was annoying me all weekend.
That's kind of how I felt trying to tag onto the back of Craig and Michael. I was there, but just off, and that's frustrating. It is frustrating.
You just can't. It's hard when you kind of going, what is going on? How is that gap that much more on this lap than it was the lap before? I don't know where I've lost it. Where are they pulling out on me constantly?
It took me until the finals to realise that nobody was braking at the end of the straight, and I was. That took me that long to realise that I was losing quite a chunk of time there, almost every lap. But these are the things you learn, and then I'll learn these for future. I mean, I've raced at that track a lot, and I've probably always braked at the end of that straight, but it seems that most people tend to scrub the speed off. Yeah, these are just things you pick up, and you've got to learn about your own driving. So
it's like we were saying earlier. It's the ability now, I think, to carry that speed into that corner, because I mean, when we were doing that corner, you know, you sweep right the way to the outside of the straight, and you just kind of do a massive arc so that you tuck in on that white concrete apex there, and it was just a case then of tapping your brake, and you just came round the corner really, really nicely at the top end. But again, I mean, it was only, I think, because we spent 6 hours on the Friday running the track over and over and over again that I got that before we started qualifying. But
yeah, I think obviously I got my line set, and then I wasn't braking a lot. I wasn't losing a ton of time, but maybe a tenth or two. But that's enough per lap to start costing you. Yeah,
it is.
And I noticed it, and then when I stopped doing it, I then managed to pull out a third in leg 3 of two-wheel drive, and I thought, well, I kind of wish I'd found this a bit sooner, to be fair. It was a bit late. But it's a learning curve. Like I say, I'll learn for next time.
Yeah.
So,
what are you on to over the winter then? Because I'm guessing you guys must have some seriously good indoor stuff.
So we've got a Scottish winter indoor series up here, and I also do the Worksop one. So I probably do more workshop rounds than I do of our own one, just because I usually try and tell my wife that I'll do less racing during the winter, as I'm away constantly.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But yeah, I will be doing workshop.
And a competition at workshop is tough.
I love workshop. Yeah, that's where you can really test yourself. It's such a high standard. That's why I go there.
Yes.
It keeps you at the top of your game going to workshop during the winter. It's not just that, you'll turn up, you'll breeze into the A final. You have to work for it there. You really have to work for it.
I think it's really its popularity, really, isn't it? Because you just look at the sort of the top 20 people who go there and think, that's 20 out of the top 30 at a national.
Yeah, I had some cracking rounds at workshop last year. I TQ'd one meeting at workshop last year, and unfortunately gave up the lead of the final on the last lap, which was absolutely devastating, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because then you've got 4 hours to think about it on the way home. I was gutted, to be honest. I'm not going to lie, because I out-qualified Craig and Richard Lowe and stuff, and I thought, this is what you're aiming for when you're trying to improve, and then you're getting a result that shows that you're actually making some progress. And the thing is, I didn't even make a mistake. My car got up on 2 wheels due to grip in the final, and I got passed just up the inside. James Hellawell sneaked up the inside of me with his X-ray. Beat me. Devastating. Absolutely devastating.
I bet you had tyre sauce on to get that move.
It's the weirdest surface ever, because obviously you buy mini pins and you cut every single pin off. It's strange. And it's time consuming and it's horrible.
Yeah. But those set of mini pins last all day?
They'll sometimes last more than one meeting.
So I've got no problem with those people, if that's what works.
Yeah, you don't. You're certainly doing a whole meeting on them. I've done more than one meeting on them as well. So yeah. Okay. I mean, Craig and other people tend to just replace them per meeting, but you can definitely get more. Not everybody cuts them. To be fair, James Hellawell is one person that tends not to, but I find that they're at their best if you do, and most people do.
Yeah, I think the Chatterton, where the Opel run their series.
I've done one meeting there.
It's a very similar kind of floor.
It was. We just got the mini spikes and cut everything off there as well.
Yeah, I think.
And I quite enjoyed the meeting there. It was good. I liked that surface. It was a nice place to drive Chatterton as well.
Yeah, it's a decent venue, and they do a great job. I think they're there every month. But again, we're as always, we're spoilt in the Northwest. Indoor racing every weekend.
We've got one permanent indoor track up here. But obviously it doesn't get used that often because it gets used for their club meetings a lot, but it's about 70 miles from me, so it's not somewhere I visit regularly. But if I need to do a day's testing, like a new car comes out or something, or I get...
change team again.
I knew you were going to say that, and I knew exactly that's what they were going to say. That's why I was trying to watch how I worded that, but it was too late. It was far too late. But yeah, that's when I go up there, because it's great, because I can get access all day and just test things, see how things go.
So is
it's
that
a nice track.
Is that open 24/7 then, that place? What's it called?
It's not, but you can get in. Like, if say you're going to be in the area, there's 4 or 5 key holders, so they'll let you in. Like, somebody will be around to let you in. That's air. So they've got 3 tracks under one roof. So they've got a drift track, an off-road track, and some rubbish flat track for touring cars.
Okay.
So... they love their touring cars. I've insulted them now. They love their touring cars at that club.
Do you know what? You have now. You've now incurred the wrath of the on-road posse out there, and it's
definitely.
You'll enjoy it. It's a fun ride. I've been doing it for a couple of years now.
It's not really hate mail. It's just more, slightly annoyed mail.
Yeah.
It's just. I'm a very similar. I'd say, get your own podcast. Go on, it's dead easy. If me and Gups can figure this fucking crap out, do you know what I mean? It's not hard.
As long as their podcast gets more listeners than attend their nationals.
Oh God, this is great.
I'm only kidding. I'm only kidding.
He's not though.
It's just a ha-ha. It's just a ha-ha. Just a little joke.
Okay. So. I'm going to say thanks for your time, mate. We've done an hour. You've been brilliant. Thanks very much. It was nice to speak to someone from Scotland. I know we get a load of listeners from it. I know that Mike Carberry didn't have a great Scottish regional. He got beaten again. So people keep us updated.
Yeah.
And I think that flying truck at your region.
What you didn't see in that video is there was about 6 kids playing when it landed.
Oh,
it literally was at head height, and it's one of the most amazing things I've ever seen at a race meeting. But honestly, it could have went so wrong because there was kids playing where it landed. I don't know how it didn't hit anybody. There was about 8 or 9 people over where it landed. It was crazy.
It was
but
that
thing just he'd been having radio problems all day.
Yeah,
right.
And it just took off. It took off that line.
That's the trouble with Aussies. They cause that sort of thing.
It just went crazy. That was mad. But yeah, that was our regional at the weekend, and yeah, that was exciting.
Okay.
Cheers, Alan, mate. You've been a superstar, bud. Is there anyone you want to give a shout out to before we go?
Just my wife, really. She's the one that puts up with me and allows me to do this and does not complain. That is what I like. A very supportive wife.
You're a lucky man. You're a lucky man. And then we'll probably give you a catch up with you again after you've maybe done a bit of workshop.
Yeah, no problem, man. Anytime.
Yeah, because we don't get over there, so we'll catch up when you've maybe done a few rounds of that. Cheers, Alan. You were
great to catch up with you.
Thanks a lot, guys. See you later.
Take care, bud.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, what a nice lad.
Yeah. Lovely guy. Great to have him on. Great to catch up about all the bits and bobs he's been doing and the Scottish grass madness that they get up to up there.
Yes, craziness.
It certainly is craziness, mate, but it really does look like a lot of fun, and from the way that Alan sort of describes the grass racing up there, if you do it constantly, I suppose you're going to get your setups right and everything like that, so it's going to work for you. The cleaning is certainly not something I would want to be doing every meeting that I went to, but
well, it seems like a great idea. Take your electrics out and just do it all in the shower.
Yeah. I'm not sure I would do that. I'd probably just spray it with GT85 or WD-40 or whatever's in the workshop, and blast it off with the high pressure airline that's down there.
You've got one of them, haven't you?
Yeah, it is a massive, great big compressor, so it's it does get the car looking like it's brand new again before you've even taken anything off of it. All your shocks are all glistening clean, and if you're going to strip it down anyway, clean everything out and take bits apart, anything you do blow into the crevices under the gearbox, and you know what I mean, in between where you've got your C brace and your D brace at the back, and your gearbox sort of sits in the middle of those and screws in, and you can't get all the bits, especially if it's got a bit greasy. There's little bits of sand and stuff in there, that you can hook out afterwards. But otherwise, it does an absolutely blinding job. But like I say, it's not something that we race on or have made enough of an effort to go and try racing on, maybe for some of the Opel series and things like that.
I think that is our issue. I only race on grass once a year now. And if it is dry, it's fine. It's very good. But they're not going to be racing grass at Stoffold.
No, they aren't going to be racing on grass at Stoffold, mate. Good luck to everybody who is going to that this weekend. Should be a blinding meeting from the pictures I've seen on Facebook. I think the club put one up, and Kev Lee Inside Line put one up as well at some point of the track. I've never actually raced at Stotfold. Does look like somewhere I'd love to go and have a go there.
Yeah, I think it probably is close. Must be closer than you than Robin Hood. It's just for us. It's just further down that road. It's Old National for a good few years. I think it had a break very recently, but otherwise it's been a staple. As you always say, the two-wheel drive sorted. Craggy's won that.
Yeah.
So that'd be great.
You just got to wait for him to win this last round at Stopfold. Yeah, and it's both titles wrapped up for him this year.
Well, there we go. We'll see how that goes on. I tell you what, I'll be looking forward to the Idle Murphy videos.
Certainly will. Oh, and talking about videos and things like that, as well as Idle Murphy doing the videos out there were some cracking shots that John Howe did from RC Images over the weekend at Mendip, where the regional's going on. He was down there clicking his camera like he does. I think they've all been shared on the Big Blue Tent page or the group, I think, or at least I hope they have.
Yeah, I get a bit upset now when I see those because they're not all of my car.
Yeah, he hasn't turned up for a day at Opel to take photos of your car for you.
Yeah, so I felt a bit left out. So I still skim through them and tag people in the, tag any good ones of you or Hancock or Busby or someone like that. Yeah,
what you should do is hire John to come up to the next Southport meeting, or maybe one of your indoor Southport meetings, and do some nice photos
of my car and no one else's.
Yeah, for your car. Just 600 photos of your car.
600 photos of my car.
And everybody you've taken out during the day.
Yeah. I'll have two two-wheel drives running 10.5s indoors. So 300 of each. That'd be perfect.
So, where are you racing this weekend? I know we've got the national going on, but neither of us are in that. So, what are you doing toy car wise this weekend, mate?
Southport.
Club
I don't
day?
know if it's a club
Championship round.
I don't know what it's a championship. I don't think it is a championship round because the nationals on. So it's sometimes 10.5. I don't tend to do 10.5 outdoors. I only do it indoors.
Yeah, I think most people do.
And I think I think I've miscounted my week. So I think it's Southport, then Southport again, then end of season.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've got 2 weeks. So I've got 2 weeks sort of sorting your car out.
8th and 9th, is it, of September?
Yeah, it's 9th and 10th. I think the 8th is the Friday.
Ah, okay.
And I think we spoke about going for a curry. There's like a curry house a mile down the road.
Yeah.
And that's at Kidderminster in a couple of weeks' time. But Rawcliffe's done some cyber stalking and found out there's actually a pub over the the other side of the car park from the Travelodge.
Oh, okay. What is it, like a beef eatery type sort of place?
Looks like a big pub that does food.
Good.
So never mind any plans of walking a mile to do anything else if there's a pub over the road. Yeah,
I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
I'd agree with that. Well, whilst you are playing around at Southport this weekend, I believe Kidderminster has a race meeting on Sunday.
Oh, right, okay.
So my plan is to go up there, because I've never been to Kidderminster before either. Go up there and run the club day, see how the track lies, and just get a bit of an idea, for it before the end of seasons.
Ah, right. So are you the Southwest secret weapon?
I'm not sure many people from the Southwest would call me the secret weapon.
They definitely call you a weapon.
They may call me a weapon and many other things. They call you
a massive weapon.
Yeah. They may secretly, no, quite openly, actually.
Yeah, to your face.
Yeah, that happens. But I don't think I'm a secret weapon. Not certainly not this year, or not the way that the year's ended. I really strong start to the end of the year, and I feel like I've kind of almost hit a bit of a wall in a way.
Ace, that's just what I want to hear.
Robin Hood and the regional were, or the international and the regional were both a real struggle for some reason. I mean, everybody has. Alan said, you can't look like you were going really well, for me, it felt like I was just going, oh, come on. Come on, what's going on? I know it'll go better than this. I'm not doing anything different to what I would normally do. I'm still doing all the same prep. I'm still doing all the same checks. But you know, I know why Robin Hood was hard because I made too many changes before I got there. But I didn't expect the regional last weekend to be as tough as it felt it was.
I tell you what, I did change.
Oh, go on. Sorry, my
short
earphones.
Sticks.
Ah, they turned up, did they?
My short sticks turned up.
Excellent.
So I put some short sticks onto my KO4.
Yeah.
And I really liked it.
Oh, you actually used that this weekend then?
Yeah, the weekend just gone.
Yeah. Okay.
I got them last week, threw them in my bag, and got there and went, oh, do you know what? I couldn't even look at my car, I felt so ill.
So, hang on. Okay, so with your long sticks, you would normally be maybe within a couple of places of Borley?
Yeah.
Okay, and certainly, no offence to Garner, because indoors he smashes all of us, or certainly did last year. But normally a decent way ahead of Garner. So you and Borley are normally the top sort of two, really, out of the northwest, aren't you?
I think we'll learn more about if they make any difference this weekend, because I won't be hungover to hell and on a new track. I'll be back at Southport where I know the car's gone well before.
Fair enough.
It just felt better.
Yeah.
Sometimes I might have just started noticing this when people started mentioning short sticks to me on my KO4.
It's a complete placebo thing.
Yeah. It's KO going, well, we've sold them all spare aerials. If we just make the same sticks just slightly smaller, it makes no difference. But just because they're new, they'll be sharper. I did notice my fingers were slipping off. And so, KO's off for people with tiny hands. I really liked it. And for a couple of quid, and the nice metally things.
Nice. It might be something that I could try with the KO before I give it a final grave and sell it on.
Well, okay.
I've still got it. Right. It's still sat in the box here, not doing anything. But I don't know. Maybe it would be worth trying the short sticks with it before I tarnish it and sell it on.
I probably wouldn't advise it, mate. If you're happy with the Samurai, just keep it. You know what? You go back to But I enjoyed them. I thought they were really good. So I don't think I've got any other new bits coming this week.
What for the car?
Yeah, for my RB 6.6 and my RZ6.
Hang on a minute. As the 6.6 is built, but you haven't got it yet.
No, it isn't. That's actually in my house.
Oh, you've got that, but there's no electrics in it yet.
No, that'll be done by Sunday.
Tom Patterson's putting that in before Sunday for you.
Yes.
Okay, and is it all your Orion stuff you're putting back in?
Yes, yeah, of course.
Okay.
Hashtag Kayo Show Europe. Oh, we didn't mention at the beginning. Sponsors, Kayo Show Europe. Thanks very much. Lovely.
Yeah,
they do Team Orion and Kayo Show. Ooh, it's lovely.
Well,
So I've even got a fancy, brand new Team Orion 7.5 mod motor.
Good.
Don't know if I'll notice any difference from my other Orion 7.5.
Oh, you haven't run that one yet, then?
No, but it's got all the important things that make it a great motor.
Yeah.
It's just not. It's like just same manufacturer, but just not the same one as Borley's got. So I always go, well, you've got that version. No, you got the lightweight one. That's for on road, isn't it? You don't want a lightweight motor. So it helps me get into Borley's head, but I couldn't get into anyone's head. couldn't even get into my own head on Sunday.
No.
But you
were just trying to get out of your own head on Sunday.
Yeah, yeah. So it's Southport. So we'll have a whole. It'll be pretty. No Tommy either, so probably won't be an early start. And then
why is Tommy not going the weekend then?
I think this is maybe because there's no competition, or I don't know if he's actually going away on Saturday night.
Okay.
Or doing something on Saturday night, so he's not racing this weekend, and then he's racing next weekend and going to Kiddie with us. So maybe it's something to do with that.
Oh, that'd be good.
I think he's got his brothers coming over from America soon, so maybe he's just got more chores to do, some decorating or something like that. So he's not there. So it'll be nice and relaxed, nice and lovely, relaxed meeting. So ideally, but what we'll try and do is get as many rounds in as possible.
Yeah.
Not messing about. Let's just run through the rounds, and then what we can do is I can have as many runs as both my cars.
Yeah, I think depending on how many people turn up, you do need enough time to let everybody charge. But I think the thing you've got to do or remember when you've got these gaps is you've got to keep the gaps consistent every time, so that people know they've got X amount of time to get back on the track. And if you change that, it's going to be really difficult to get people back when you start calling them, because they won't feel like there's any sort of structure to have to stick to. But if you do it in a almost, sounds a bit of a harsh way of doing it, but in a kind of regimented way where everybody is on time for it, people really respond very, very well to that, and I think it just makes it makes it easier for the guys running the meeting and dealing with everybody. I think it makes their job a lot easier because everyone just knows what's going on. They know when it's going on. They know how long they've got.
Tommy and Eric did some work on like a timetable for Southport, and trust they say what we'll do is we'll just have 45 minutes. That's how long a round takes.
Yeah.
So if you have 3 heats, 4 heats, you'll know you're back. You're going to be back on. Your first heat starts again at this point. And as long as everyone, as you said, as long as everyone knows that, and you stick to it, everyone loves it. And you can have 6 rounds in a final.
Yeah, you can. You can, as long as everybody's happy to have the extra 2 rounds, because that does extend the day a fair bit.
Well, if you run to decent times, I don't think it does. We finished quite handy the other week actually, because we'd had 5 rounds, and then we had the issue then is we told everyone it was 5 rounds in the final, and then everyone was prepared for their final, so we probably could have even stuck an extra round in.
Yeah.
But everyone was sort of sat there half packed up. Once your battery car was charged, you put your charger away because as soon as you finish you're back out. So I think what you do was I just get some track time in this week and next week for the F2 Speeds 4s and 5s. I painted a massive target on my back, and so I look forward to people battering me within an inch of my life.
Well, I'm sure the, as you call them, easy region will be more than happy to see you when they get there. The likes of Damo and all of the other ones. Yeah. But,
and I'd like to point out, you're the person who's called it the easy region today, not me. So when we get to Kidderminster, that's who they're looking for.
I can't listen. I cannot help the legacy you've created for the North East. That is nothing to do with me. Like I've said in many other podcasts, they've got some fantastic drivers up there. It's a good region for racing. This is purely
a lot of Kyosho drivers
egg that I've just helped to grow into a healthy chick.
And they're putting my clearly wrong views to one side and still helping me.
Yeah, they are. That's because people understand. I think it's just a bit of fun and a bit of banter between us all. There's no real malice in it. I think they know how easy the region is themselves. so it doesn't go too far.
Well, I wasn't expecting that. Well done, mate. Well done. But do you know what we have done today? We have covered loads of regions.
We have. Sorry if we haven't touched on the everybody's regions. Hey. Not that we're going to touch on everybody's regions, but hey, we haven't mentioned everybody's regions fully. It's difficult to keep up with everything that went on over the weekend.
If you're listening and your region hasn't been mentioned, that's because maybe we don't know someone else to speak to.
Maybe we haven't noticed your region.
Maybe.
We got to stop saying region now and move on from that and go
nationals or something. So, except for that last moment. So if you do, let us know, and like Alan's done today, we'll get you on and chat about your car and what you do in your kind of areas and the tracks that you've got. And that's the thing, because that's what we're here to try and do, is to speak to loads of people from other places, and just chat about toy cars, because it's ace.
Yeah,
and everyone should do it.
And like we said at the beginning, if you guys are going to keep listening to it, we'll try and cover as much as we can for you. Do get in touch if you are from one of the clubs or one of the areas of the country that we haven't covered properly yet on the show. And I know there's 1,500 of you out there registered with the BRCA that are doing off-road. So get in touch, and we'll try and get a few more people on and really sort of try and push the scene and get it out there a bit more. So also, with that being said, don't forget to like and share the podcast wherever you can, because it just helps us to keep it going.
Yeah, you saw how powerful that was because what's been put out today on Facebook is that they're going to run an indoor event at that shopping centre where they run the GT12s or the LMPs or whatever indoors over the weekend. You seen that?
Nope.
You've not seen that? Weren't you tagged in it?
The Silverstone GP.
Yeah, but it's not in Silverstone.
Well, the Silverstone GP is 10th off-road.
Mm-hmm. But in the last few years, the on-road guys have ran a 2-day meeting inside a shopping centre in Milton Keynes.
Oh, okay.
And so this Silverstone thing, I believe it's the Silverstone Club, are running this, a 2-day off-road event in the same shopping centre.
Oh, that'll be good. Have they got a Costa in there?
I'm pretty sure it's a big shopping centre. It has got a Costa. It has got a Travelodge.
Oh, well, that's good.
But that was shared 20 times in the first 5 minutes. And that's just going to be so oversubscribed. Everyone wants to go to that. It's the January the 12th and 14th. It's in Milton Keynes. It's easy-ish to get to, I think.
Yeah, but then you said that about the British Winter Open last year at Maritime, and it was pretty close up to the event that I booked in. I think it was only a matter of maybe a week or two before it, and people drop out. Clearly you can't rely on that.
Mm-hmm. So, I'm just thinking that's going to be a popular meeting, and that'll be good to go to. I think what I'd like to do over the next few weeks is try and get to Midland, maybe, to have a go on the carpet.
Okay.
If I'm going to go to an EOS meeting, I don't know when MB are getting off-road carpet back in or going to start having off-road events. But Midlands has got that down, so maybe you should drive up. I think I don't even know what night it is. Whatever night it is, maybe you should drive up to Midlands, and we'll have a race on EOS carpet there.
That'd be good. I know some of the CML lads are pretty local to it. So yeah, I could have a chat to some of them, see if they'll come up as well.
Yeah, be ace, mate. Be ace. But you'll be getting some sneaky practice at Kiddie this weekend.
Certainly will.
Yeah.
Certainly will. I think I might go to, because I got Friday off work anyway, because I took, like I said before, took all the Fridays and Mondays of the Nationals off this year, and then didn't do them for my own reasons. But it just means that I've got this long weekend this weekend, so I may well just go to Mendip on Friday and run the buggy round for a few hours and just try and maybe, I don't know, get my head thinking the way it should be thinking when I go into a race meeting before I drive up to Kidderminster and run up there on the Sunday.
Okay.
Like I say, long weekend. I've got enough time to be able to do it and get the car built again how I want it for the meeting. So yeah, that's probably going to be my plan.
That's it, mate. I'll speak to you on Sunday morning. I'll give you a call on when I'm on my way to the track.
Yeah, please do. Very good.
Okay.
I'll give you some updates when I'm there. I'm sure I'll be doing Facebook videos and all the bits that I would normally do when I'm at a race meeting.
And if you don't do any Facebook videos, we know the reason that is because they've told you that's the same track they're going to run for the F2s, 3s, 4s and 5s, and you don't want anyone to see it.
No, I don't think that's going to be the case. I don't think that's what I'd do. The case.
That's what I'd do.
Yeah, they might. I'll finally get a message in a minute on Facebook saying, "Oh no, we've cancelled the meeting. Don't waste your time coming up. It's not worth it."
Yeah. Everyone else is fine, just not you.
Yeah.
All right, mate. Okay. Well, it's been great. It was great to catch up about all the regions. It was great to catch up with Alan.
Thanks for coming on.
With you. No worries, mate. So we've spoken to everyone else. We'll just have 3 solid weeks of the Northwest and Southwest then.
Yeah.
That's what we'll do.
That sounds good to me.
Spread the love.
Come on then, let's call it a night, and we'll catch up with everybody next Wednesday.
Cheers, mate.
Take it easy, buddy.
Thanks, mate. Bye now.
Bye.